Rich. Thank you. That was a little aggressive. Hammer down again.
The February meeting of the Back Bay Amateur Astronomers will now come to order. Start off with our reports, starting off with our vice president
Okay.
and the upcoming schedule.
Okay, we have lots of events for February. Welcome to everybody that's out there. How many do we have total? It doesn't say. Four? Plus about, we got more here than out there. We got about a dozen or maybe 15 here. Okay, find it. In the same window, I think. Great. Hang on just a second. Not that one. I had to log in twice. There we go. It's this window. That's not it. Well, can I go from here to the events calendar? I think so. Okay. All right, now let me share the screen and I'll be good. All right, hang loose.
That just shows what the public sees. It doesn't see what.
Oh, that's true. That's not enough. So,
Nice guy network.
let me back out.
Right.
Just click one of those, it should open up.
You think? So I can log in as me?
Yeah,
Let me do it again.
if you scroll down right there, you'll see Nice Guy Network.
Check. And does it have me in there yet? Let's find out. I think I'm logged in. Looks like I'm logged. Yeah, I'm logged in. Okay. All right, now we can share. Gotta find Zoomies again. Here's the Zoomies. Okay, here we go. For February. Tonight's the club meeting, you know that. Corn Watch on the 2nd, Sky Watch on the 3rd. That's this Saturday. And how's the forecast for this Saturday? Are we gonna be okay?
Okay.
Yeah, we got Jeff Edmondson here, and so he says it's gonna be great weather. We're all gonna go. Yeah. We're all gonna go to Skywatch. I'm really counting on it. I want to get some imaging done out there too. So if you haven't been to Skywatch, please do attend. Has anybody here not been to Skywatch out at Northwest River Park? Okay, everybody's here as a veteran. Anybody out there not been there? The Northwest? Okay, Roland's never. Yes, you have, Roland. Roland's been there. And it's the equestrian area, Northwest River Park. So click on the events calendar like this, click on the event, and you can get directions if you don't know how to get there. Okay, so I guess I shouldn't have done that. All right, here we go. The next event is Corn Watch on the 9th again, Night Watch the 10th and 11th. This is KBRC, that's the Kempsville Recreation Center, Astronomy 101, and we need a few telescopes. Lately, we haven't had much luck on the weather out there, and George is going to give a great presentation again, as he did before. Garden Stars on Thursday the 15th, and George, you're going to do that one too?
Yes.
George is doing that one too.
Notice that Kempsville Rec Center is on Valentine's Day.
It is on Valentine's. We should have made an event for that. Okay, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday's on that following Saturday. We look at the sun, and that's a great event to go to for during the day, of course, to see the sun and all its beauty too. Then it's not very much of a thing going on in February. Corn Watch again on the 1st of March. Skywatch again on the 2nd of March. And let's see what we got after that. Another Kempsville Rec Center, Astronomy 101. Club meeting on Thursday, the first Thursday, the 7th. Corn Watch again, Night Watch, Garden Stars. Stargazing at Fort Story. I don't know how many volunteers we got for that, but we could use a few volunteers for Friday, March 15th. So I'll send out another email to everybody if we don't have enough. We have an eclipse presentation at 11 o'clock at the Churchland Library. And I think I'm signed up for that. I can't remember, but we could use somebody, some other people to take a look at that. That's in the morning. And of course, we can use a telescope out there for some viewing too. Saturday, Sunday on the 30th, and that takes care of the March events. So there's not a whole lot going on. We didn't fill in a whole lot like we usually do. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe how to, when you go to an event, I had one guy ask me a question. How do you report that you went? I said, okay, here's what you do. When you go to the events, let me click back on this one. Let me see a good example. I'll click one more. Yeah, well, how do I get to, here we go. Wednesday?
Just back.
Hit the back there.
Yeah. Okay, so I went to the Ocean Lakes PTA STEM night. So I'm going to click on that. And RSVP and volunteer hours. Click on that. And you can see that Roland and David RSVP'd with volunteer hours, but I haven't.
Neither have I.
Gee, okay, so I'll show you how to do that. I will add some volunteer hours because we were there for about 2 hours. And it was public outreach, 2 hours. The reason you want to do this is not just to document that you went, but also to document some income tax deductions and things. Miles driven.
Most importantly, it's how you get the cool night sky.
Yeah, and that's right. And you get the Night Sky Award. It's a pin. And we have a few of those to pass out today too. And description performed. Lecture about planets. And I'll fill this out later. And comments and stuff like that. And I click submit. And I'll go in and modify it and fix it. So then when you look on volunteer hours, RSVP and volunteer hours, you see that I have 2 hours here. So at the end of the year, you can list all the things you went to and how many hours you spent, and how many miles you drove, things like that. And it's all documented for you. It's beautiful. So please do. If you haven't done that, and if you haven't attended any outreach events, please do, because it's a lot of fun. See, we had George, we had Sean, we had and we had Roland. We had 5 of us there. All right, and the kids were pretty cool. One of them asked me, is there a white hole? I know there's a black hole. I said, no, I've never heard of a white hole. Does anybody have any more questions? Okay, I'll stop share, turn it back over to George.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the secretary's report.
All right, let's see, the last meeting we had was,
You have to come up. Yeah, we should
Yeah,
tell everybody, because there's been a few complaints that people need to come up here because they can't hear out in the peanut gallery. Is that a thumbs up from you guys too? You have trouble hearing when we're way in the back talking?
so.
All
I
right.
think
I
I think the solution is for all those Zoomies to come here.
There you go. That would be bad. That would even be better.
All right, everybody, my name is Eddie Paris. I'm the secretary of Back Bay. The last meeting we had was at the Rec Center, January 4th, by President George Reynolds. It was called to order at 7:37. We had 20 members and 2 children that attended. We had 5 at Zoom. And let's see, and treasurer's report is given by Richard Roberts. General fund, we had 6,300, primary scholarship 33, 3,300, Georgie June, 1,145. Total members we had was 208. The scholarship report was by Ben, and he talked about the scholarships, its history, and how we funded those. There were 2 past scholarship award members that were present also. The Alco report, that was by Bruce Powers. There will be an event. He sent a message through Jeremy saying there will be an event called Alcon 2024 Stars and All the Jazz, which will be taking place in Kansas City, Missouri. And there will be a Zoom call for the upcoming springtime East Coast Star Party event. Let's see, and that's going to be January 10th. And if anybody's got any questions for the committee, please get on the Zoom and chat with them. The old business was Georgie June raffle that was discussed, proposed that we raffle off a Celestron 5-inch Star Sense Schmidt Cassegrain telescope, which is right over there, George brought, and tickets will be sold through April for $5 each, and the winning ticket will be drawn in May. The new business, we had 2 members that were on Channel 13 at noon, Jeff Goldstein and Sean Lassiter. And that was, they pretty much, the Zooms, they spoke about our club, about the outreach programs we had, the upcoming events. They also brought in a telescope, one that we're raffling off, and talked about the upcoming total eclipse. George mentioned that the Quarterly Reflector magazine, that there was an article about the sun funnel, which he brings to, we have our Sunday on Saturday event. So if anybody wants to go there and check this out, it's really, really neat invention they put out. And the meeting features that we had was the new smart telescope, the Sea-Star, by Jeff Goldstein. He talked about the telescope and its functions, and he shared images. So that's all I have today.
Good job. All right. Could we have a motion that the minutes be accepted as read?
Move the minutes be accepted as written.
Second? Second, okay, it's been moved and seconded, we, minutes, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay? Okay, minutes are accepted as read. Next on the business is the treasurer's report. Richard Roberts.
Just okay. You have to click over.
All right.
We can see the people.
Let's pull up the books. All right. So in total, we got almost $1,200. So we got a good amount of money. Yeah, everyone's paid their dues. Not everybody, but most people have. Our scholarships are looking good with almost 3,400 in the primary scholarship and 1,365 in Georgia June. We got some Georgia June money in from raffle ticket sales. We still need to sell some more to recoup what we spent on the telescope, but we are a strong financial position and have plenty of money to fund all of our activities in the future. Major things that happened to the, our major expenses this month were, like, every January I got to pay for the PO box, which is like 220 something bucks. Sean bought a bunch of lights that we'll be using at little red flashlight things we'll be using at East Coast Star Party. We are starting to get some East Coast Star Party money coming in. I think 6 or so people have already registered and paid, so we got that going on. We are sitting at 211 members. Next time we meet, that number will be lower because I'm closing the membership campaign. For the last 2 months, I've been harassing people to pay their dues, and that's now coming to a close. I have 46 people currently that have not paid. One of them says he's going to pay next month. So, hey, I'm not going to power company here. I'm not going to just cut you off if you say, hey, give me some extra time. No worries. 6 people have told me, yeah, I'm done. I'm not going to renew, and 40 people I've just not heard anything from. Or actually, it'd be 39. So the grade purge will start soon for people who've not paid their dues, and will get knocked down by 40 something people and be in the 170s, which is more than we started after the purge last year. So we're still up. Nothing else significant really to report. If anyone has any questions, we can move on with the meeting.
Got a question. Did we get paid for Boardwalk Astronomy?
We did. That's why there's almost 3,400 in primary scholarship. That happened last year. I talked about that last time. Is in December we deposited a $2,000 check from, was it IMG Events or whatever the event company that partners with the city. It was significantly more than what we've gotten in the past, because in the past, for those who don't know, we used to split the money. The company pays like $500 for every one that we do. So it varies year to year based on weather, on how many events we do. The last year we did 4, so it was $2,000. We used to split that with the planetarium, Virginia Beach School Planetarium, but they don't want to be involved anymore. So now we're like, oh, just give it all to us. So they're like, all right, here you go, $2,000. So so our primary scholarship is in a very good place because of that. That's probably the long answer to that question, but do you have any others?
Hey, Richard, that's a pretty healthy balance sheet. Is that the highest you've seen it?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I mean, our membership is up over the last couple of years. We've been gaining a lot of members. We also have the fact that I'm used to rolling into the year, which we've seen in the past, around $7,000-8,000, but a lot of it was that the scholarship, a much bigger check than normal, and we're also running East Coast Star Party through our books. So there'll be more expenses, and we saw that last year when we did the event. We had a lot more revenue and more expenses, and we're already collecting money for East Coast Star Party, so that was a couple $100. And we're at record membership levels.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have a motion that we accept the reading of the treasurer's report. Move to accept the treasurer's report. Okay, got a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Treasurer's report is accepted as read. Bruce, would you like to come up here and give a Alcor report? And while you're up here, you can talk about the CSP. Why, of course. Otherwise, I'd have you coming up twice.
Great. First of all, I want to thank my coworker, Jeremy Mitchell, for giving my Alcor report last month, since I was otherwise disposed taking this man to his birthday dinner. So anyway, okay. So slow news day for the Astronomical League. I'm going to rehash that the annual convention for the Astronomical League will be held in Kansas City, Missouri, July 17th through the 20th. Tuvok from Star Trek Voyager will be there. That's very exciting. Tim Russ, and then David Levy, who is the Comet Hunter from Comet Shoemaker Levy 9. If you're familiar, that crashed into Jupiter, he'll be there. And I'm sure that we'll be advertising some more things in the next issue of the Reflector. I'm sorry to report that my globular cluster submission was rejected.
What?
Yes. So no, I'm still under the current rejection, but like I said before, I plan to resubmit all my descriptions in the form of a haiku. So
That's gonna be funny.
That's what we're talking about.
I mean, either that or I'm gonna just observe all the magnitude 13 ones with a remote telescope and turn those on.
RT.
Because yeah, so if anybody wants a funny read on Facebook, read my rant back and forth about the globular cluster program. Thank you for all my supporters for my ongoing blatant discrimination of my lack of description of capabilities. So anyway, but don't let this deter you from participating in the observing program. It's a good thing. Please go do it. Don't just ignore my bitterness. I'm not bitter. Okay. All right. No, I will resubmit with a vengeance still. Don't worry.
They're your cheerleaders, Bruce. We
Yeah.
are your cheerleaders.
Yeah. Yeah.
For folks that are looking to get into doing one of these, because I've already ordered a couple of packages.
Yeah.
What do you see as the shortcoming, the submissions?
You have to repeat the question.
So the shortcomings of my submission were I did not submit a description that was adequately descriptive according to the coordinator. So I wrote the coordinator and said, there's no description of the description in the manual. And he wrote back and said, you need to include a description. I was like, well, thanks for that, Captain Obvious. I'm not.
Did you have to draw it?
No,
You did.
perhaps I
You
should.
just write, it's a glob. They all look the same.
Right, right.
What else do you want me to describe? It was a fuzz.
I know,
One above, right?
right. Yeah,
So,
so good luck describing a Palomar magnitude 13 globular cluster in a 10-inch. It's a small blob, whatever. Anyway, I'll figure something out. I think I'm gonna resubmit for Sky Puppy, then I'll be much better. Yeah,
how many were there?
50.
50.
Yeah, it took me 3 years. It's okay. It's okay. I'm in recovery. I'm fine. Okay.
How many did they say you needed to resubmit on? Did they say like, oh, these like 5 are not good and redo them, or?
All right, I did beat that out of him. I said, okay, which one of my descriptions are adequate to you? And I made him spit out 5 numbers. So I'm just gonna resubmit that for all 50. So anyway. Okay, all right, on to other things, not that I'm bitter, but please look into the programs. There's lots of programs for kids. There's sun programs, there's moon programs. You do not have to attempt something as difficult as globular clusters. There's lots of good programs. So once I overcome my bitterness, I'm gonna start highlighting specific programs throughout the year. Okay, East Coast Star Party, we had a nice meeting on January 10th with Trevor Johnston, who is the new ranger, the 3rd ranger we've worked with at East Coast Star Party. He's very engaged. He's very friendly and forthcoming and wants to bend over backwards to make our event a good one yet again. Okay, so we met for an hour and a half. The majority of that was line by line review of the old permit, and we revised it for May of 24. And George submitted the permit with the fee, so our permit is in. Hardworking Sean Lozier also updated the entire East Coast Star Party website. It is quite detailed, okay? So for those of you like Patrick that have a RV that want to bring it to the East Coast Star Party, my advice to you is the following. 1, make your reservation now, like February 1st, because I already could not get into Loop B for May 9th through 12th. And so I'm on Loop A with Jim Tallman. I convinced Jim Tallman to come back. So, yeah, it took me 6 months of strong arming that guy. So he'll be here for the East Coast Star Party. But there's very specific guidelines for if you have an RV over 20 feet. Anyway, the sawmill area has apparently 5 spots reserved for that.
Yeah, that's what it said. They're limiting us to 5.
Right.
Big RV is over at that sawmill, the secondary spot,
Yeah.
not where you were before.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
but I am coming.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and I
So-
already registered.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. So, yes, it's not coin jock. Okay. I already, strong arm Jim Tallman. I said, yes, it's not coin jock, but we have a Star Party again, and we're on state land, so we have to compromise and work with the rangers. Okay, so anywho, but truly, if you like power and water and DVDs at night and stuff like that, just reserve a campsite because you'll be better off. Okay, however, if you are the rough and tough type like our president here and like to camp on the field, you can camp on the field and bring something smaller under 20 feet. And the only main restriction is no generators, especially at night.
So you
So
don't have a generator, just that at night.
I know, right. So if you're gonna hook up your $10 million astrophotography CCD camera that requires 18 gigawatts of power, it's gonna be a problem. So batteries are the rule, and you can run your generator all day long to cook hot dogs. Okay,
And another important thing is we will not be in the field where we were.
great.
Until the crop, there will be a crop in that field. So do you remember where Mel and I were?
Yeah.
Up on that little hill?
Yeah.
We'll be there all the way back.
Yeah.
We have a lot, it's like a third of a mile
Yeah.
in that area there, so it's a long hours, but
Okay.
not in the field.
All right,
Over by the so will we be able to set up over by the sawmill area?
yes,
And, I mean, I would recommend it because the tree line.
yeah,
If you set up over where we're at, we'll keep an eye on your stuff like we
Yeah.
did with
Oh,
his.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I mean, you can though,
Yeah.
you're more than welcome to set up over there.
yeah.
You just don't have as good of a horizon.
I'm gonna make Jim, I had no problem setting up my Mead 10-inch and leaving it there, driving back and forth between the campsite and the observing site. It was not a problem. Okay, I'm just gonna make Jim Tallman watch my scope.
You just need to bring both your strokes, right? And put one over by camper. And put one over, come by us.
There you go.
Very still.
Yeah, anywho, but if you're curious, just read, what questions do I have about East Coast Star Party? 90% greater that Sean's awesome detailed website has answered your questions, okay? So go check it out. I don't want to belabor the point tonight. And oh, I'm going to Staunton River, March 5th through 9th, if anybody else is going. They posted a awesome review of the Staunton River Star Party on the Facebook site. If anybody wants to see it, it's like a 10-minute movie. And then I'll be in Indianapolis for the total solar eclipse. Sitting in the Motor Speedway with 50,000 of my closest friends. All right, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
there is one more thing, Bruce.
Yep.
Remember, we were supposed to discuss the dates for the fall.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, by the way, yeah, we have a site visit on March 23rd at 11 a.m. at Chip Oaks for the East Coast Committee, okay? Which is George, Sean, myself, Rich, and Jeremy, okay? So, let's pose those subjects to Trevor Johnston on March 23rd, okay? See what their schedule is, because we tabled that on January 10th.
Okay.
We tabled it. We said we weren't gonna do it yet, so, yeah. Okay, so let's cover it March 23rd. Okay, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any reports on the scholarship?
Just that we'll be submitting, the, forms to the local schools for $1,500 and $1,000 for Georgia June.
Okay. Do you need the committee to meet and possibly discuss change in the amounts? Okay. All right.
Just, I don't remember we talked about Nick Anderson at the last one.
Yes.
I did email Chuck. I haven't got a word back from him, so I'm gonna try and email him again and see what the status of that scholarship is.
Okay, go back.
Yeah,
So I haven't heard anything yet. That's what we know.
thank you. Any report on the RRT, the route?
I literally pulled it up and it was observed in 10 minutes ago. Take a photo.
The remote rapid response remote
Robotic telescope.
robotic telescope on Fan Mountain is available to us and it is up. And if you have any questions? Ben and Sean are the experts. Okay, I mentioned, did everybody get a ticket, a red ticket for the door prize? Did anybody not get a ticket? The door prize tonight is a green laser pointer. Brand new, this is rechargeable. You can plug it into your USB
Nice.
and it recharges, and it's a cool little thing. I've got a couple of them myself. We'll award that at the end of the meeting. Okay, old business. Ticket sales are on for our raffle telescopes. I've got tickets here, $5 a piece, and if somebody wants to sell some tickets, we can give you some to sell, and you just make sure you bring back the money and the stubs. And make sure that they fill out the name, address, phone number, no, name, phone number, and email address on the stub. And that's the important part. We keep the stubs, and that's what we draw from at the end of the contest period.
We get paid via PayPal.
Yes. Okay, another
And I brought
item.
the square with me tonight too, if you want to use it.
Oh,
We'll fancy tonight.
another item is our annual Night Sky Network pins for outreach. I have a list of people who are do a pin. Most of them are not here, but, Eddie Paris is here. George Reynolds is here. James Sorensen is on Zoom, so I can't give it to you. Jeff Thornton is here. Jeff Goldstein is here. Jeremy Mitchell. Jeremy here? Yeah, there he is. Yeah. Okay, Jonathan Sheets is not here. Jonathan Longman's not here. Kent Blackwell's not here. Marcos, Mel Spruill. Patrick Vartuli is here. Roland Downing is on Zoom. I can't give it to you. Richard Roberts is on Zoom, so I'll try to hold that for you. And Sean Loescher is here. And there's a few more people that are not here. So the ones, if I called your name, see me afterward, and I'll make sure you get your, well, here, Sean.
Oh, my God.
Here we are.
Here.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, Thornton.
Oh, my God.
Eddie.
Oh.
Patrick.
George.
George. And let's see, who else should I call? Oh, Jeremy. I'll do it. Jeremy. Three part of it.
How many hours do you have to get that?
1 hour.
Just have to participate in public outreach. Just have to come out to one of our events, and we have a lot of them.
And if you have not logged, you saw how, Jeff had showed you how to log your next day network hours. If you forgot to log an event last year, please do it and let George know. So, because I did order a
Maybe
few
a few
extra,
extras, just in case.
just in case we had someone, because last year we had a couple people forget. So,
Okay. Now our member, Paul Sood, who's in the Navy, and one of these days, he's gonna give a presentation. He's been on the schedule for the last 3 months. The last 3 months, he's had duty. So maybe next month, he'll be here. Skywatch this Saturday, as Jeff mentioned, so plan on coming out. I hope, what's weather gonna be like?
Looking good.
Good, good. All right. Do we have any is it any other new business?
Kevin had a question in the chat during that about the laser. I don't know if you want to address it now.
Okay, let's see. Where's the chat? Here, chat. Is it true that green lasers are forbidden at some viewing locations? When we are at the Star Party, East Coast Star Party, we can only use green lasers on the public viewing night because we don't want them to interfere with the people who are imaging. As far as that, I don't know of any restrictions other than the restrictions we've put on it. Anybody else?
I mean, what's the deal with the FAA and green lasers and all that good stuff?
Well, don't put it in an airplane.
Okay.
That's all I know.
no
If
matter
I
what
see
the
an air-
color is, don't point it at
If I see an airplane, I turn it off. Because you could get in real big trouble if you point at an airplane, because they can triangulate and catch you and put you in jail. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Any other old business, new business?
I got some ID cards for people here and there. I got Bob Berline, can y'all hear me? And Kevin Brooks, and I've got Richard Smith and Kurt.
Hey, George, very good.
Huh?
I want to win a laser.
You need a ticket, a door prize ticket.
Didn't you? I gave you one. Did I?
I don't have it.
He's hoarding
Double your chance.
Okay. Any observing reports? Anybody? Yes.
Well, not so much observing, but I just want to give a little shout out to everyone in the club and for helping me get started. I have one of the telescopes that you guys are borrowing me right now, the Evolution 8. I have 2 imaging cameras that are borrowed to me from George Conka, who couldn't make it tonight. So he's showing me some of those. So last night was up until 2:30 in the morning on the back deck, just learning everything.
Oh,
Trying to figure it out. My goal is by the time the moon starts appearing next month, I'll have some stuff that I can put on the air live streaming. So
wow.
I'm kind of quoting at Telescope 10, but I will give the whole club a shout out when it's used. So
Wonderful. Sounds like,
Jack Horkheimer to Star Hustle in the making.
sounds like Jeff,
So yeah, it'll be exciting.
sounds like Jeff Edmondson is going over to the dark side.
Cool.
We have a guy named Gil donated that telescope. It's really nice. It's a brand new Celestron 9.25
Wow.
on a Wi-Fi mount.
Oh,
So
my.
it's perfect for Jeff.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, the Edge HD. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
With everything, vibration dampers, everything.
I have the ZWO 224 and then he gave me a 400. I can't remember the exact number. but-
Color cameras?
Yes. Yeah, so just trying to learn which one I want to use, which one I need to get myself. So it's a lot to take. It's intense. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
That's what it's hard, right?
Okay. Yeah.
any other observing reports? Oh, right, well. I guess nobody's been out in the cold lately. No,
It's cloudy.
well, Kent Blackwell is always posting stuff on Back Bay, the Groups IO site. So he's been very active.
The other day, Kenneth said there was a nice prominence, and I did go outside and look at it. Got a nice photo with my cell phone, but it was like raised up off the surface of the sun. So I've done some solar observing, but nothing like that.
Okay. It's good.
Yeah, I've been doing some solar observing also, and I found my old point and shoot Panasonic camera. And I put that up to the eyepiece. That thing is working great. It was a happy accident.
Very good. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
Just a comment, I just bought a Nexstar 6SE. So I just got it, I'm hoping to try it out Saturday night, so.
Uh-oh, you open that box and the clouds come out.
I'll set it up before.
Okay,
Set it up tonight.
well, if that's all there are observing reports or comments, go into our meeting feature, which is, I'll prepare you, like I mentioned, the Kempsville Rec Center meeting, or Astro 101, we call it, is going to be on the Valentine's Day. Well, 5 years ago, I did a Valentine's Day presentation at Garden Stars. And so I updated that for Kempsville, and I'm going to show you that tonight so that you have a chance to see our Valentine's Day presentation. So today's only the 1st of February, 2 weeks away from Valentine's Day, but you're going to see a Valentine's Day presentation. Let me see if I can pull it up and share it. Where's Zoom? Share screen.
In the lower right hand corner.
Here, there it is.
Double
Here it
click
is.
it.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and start this. I love astronomy. Of course, presented by the Back Bay Amateur Astronomers on Valentine's Day 2024. Now, I've described the definition of amateur as a lover, from the French and the Latin, person attached to a particular pursuit, study, or science without formal training, and I added without pay. And our club has been in existence for 45 years, and we love looking at the stars, planets, celestial objects, and everything else that's up there. We want to put some heart into this astronomy presentation for Valentine's Day. So happy cosmic Valentine's Day. So, what do you think of on Valentine's Day? There are hearts, flowers, candy. Well, there's many objects and images in the sky dealing with affairs of the heart. Like the Heart Nebula, I see 1805. There's a couple more pictures of the Heart Nebula in color in black and white. It's in the constellation Cassiopeia. And right next to it is the Soul Nebula. So this is called the Heart and Soul Nebula. The heart sort of upside down from the other pictures we saw, but this is the Heart Nebula, this is the Soul Nebula. And they are in Cassiopeia. There's the constellation Cassiopeia. There's the Heart Nebula. Of course, you have to have a nebula filter to see them in a very nice dark sky. We can't see those in the city here very well. So there's the Heart Nebula. There's the Soul Nebula. And there's another nebula in Cassiopeia that could sort of resemble a heart called the Pac-Man Nebula. It's over there on the other side of Cassiopeia. And of course, there's the familiar crooked 3, crooked W, whatever you want to call it. And if you had a bigger view, use this angle to point toward the Andromeda Galaxy, which is off the screen. So here's the Pac-Man Nebula. It looks like he's chomping, the old Pac-Man going along. There he is again. This is NGC 281. Some more views of the Pac-Man Nebula. If you turn him a little bit sideways, he turns into a heart. And of course, there's the Broken Heart Cluster. I was not familiar with this one, but it's NGC 2020 or 2281 in Auriga, the Charioteer. Here's two photos of it. There's two more views of NGC 2281, the Broken Heart Cluster. Let me illustrate this a little bit. That's the Broken Heart Cluster. Although you really have to use your imagination.
I can see it now. Very clear. Not so clear anymore.
And there are heartbeat stars. If you want to, it's sort of like they're discovered by the Kepler Space Telescope, binary stars that orbit each other, and their brightness diagram over time would look like an electrocardiogram, like a heartbeat. And if you want to learn more about heartbeat stars, you can go to this link, which I made shorter. It's a very long link, tinyurl.com, heartbeat stars. And if you want to learn more about it, Jet Propulsion Laboratory of NASA has a lot more information. If you go to that link, you will find more information from NASA about heartbeat stars. And of course, there's the planet, well, the former planet, dwarf planet, Pluto. Now, the New Horizons spacecraft took the first close-up pictures of Pluto in late 2015. Boy, it doesn't seem like that long ago. It seems like just yesterday. But when you look at Pluto, you should look at those close-up pictures of Pluto. What do you see? You see a heart? Or do you see a dog? There it is. Pluto is aptly named. And it was named before we could even see it that well. So the Alan Stern was the primary investigator, the principal investigator for the New Horizons project that went out past Pluto and took those pictures. And he says he can't get Pluto off his mind, even when he's not working on data or research papers. He got a cup of coffee, a cup of cappuccino one morning and looked at that and said, that looks like Pluto. He even labeled the parts, Sputnik Planum, Floating Hills, the Aldrisi Mountains, the Rift Valley. That's Alan Stern, the principal investigator for New Horizons. And speaking of love, what about Venus, the goddess of love? Here's a picture of Venus taken by the Pioneer spacecraft back in 1978. And here's a picture of Venus de Milo seen in the Louvre Museum. And here's a size comparison of Venus and Earth. Venus is almost the size, a little bit smaller than Earth, quite a lot hotter. This was taken by the Magellan spacecraft back in 1989 with the, I think it's X-rays, so they could see through the thick clouds of Venus. So you can actually see features on the surface. Now, how about a love story for Valentine's Day? We're going to tell you the love story about Andromeda the maiden and Perseus the hero. Can everybody see this? Can I want the lights out? I can turn the lights down. Can you see it okay? All right. All right. There are several versions of the story of Andromeda and Perseus. And this is my version. Andromeda was the daughter of King Cepheus and Queen Cassiopeia. Andromeda was kind and beautiful. She was even more beautiful than her mother, the lovely Cassiopeia. Everything was going along swimmingly until one day Andromeda's mother went too far with her boasting. Her mother, Andromeda, boasted about her daughter, her mother, Cassiopeia, boasted about her daughter, Andromeda, all the time. Cassiopeia insisted that she was the most beautiful child ever born, except for Aphrodite, which is Venus, of course. One day she boasted that Andromeda was more beautiful than any of the gods' daughters. Well, the trouble started when someone told the Nereids, the sea nymphs, what she had boasted. The Nereids were the daughters of the sea god Poseidon. Poseidon had always said that had always told his daughters that they were more beautiful than any others. Poseidon didn't like what Cassiopeia had to say, so Poseidon punished Cassiopeia for her boasting by throwing her up into the sky and forced her to sit on her throne upside down for the rest of forever, for all time. Because Cassiopeia, the wife of King Cepheus of Ethiopia, boasted that Andromeda and she were more beautiful than the sea nymphs, called the Nereids, in retribution for the insult to the Nereids, the sea god Poseidon sent a fearsome monster to ravage the coast of Cepheus's territory. That monster, a dragon of the sea, is represented by the constellation Cetus, the sea monster. To rid himself of the monster, Cepheus was instructed to offer up his daughter Andromeda as a sacrifice to the monster. Andromeda was chained to the cliffs at Joppa, the modern Tel Aviv, on the Mediterranean, to await her terrible fate. Andromeda was chained to a rock to be eaten by Cetus, the sea monster. Now, Cetus was visualized by the Greeks as a hybrid creature with enormous gaping jaws and the forefeet of a land animal attached to a scaly body with huge coils like a sea serpent. Thus, Cetus is drawn on star maps as a most unlikely looking creature, more comical than frightening. Nothing like a whale, although it is sometimes identified as Cetus the whale. In fact, that's where the term cetacean comes from, meaning whales. Well, along came Perseus, riding on the winged horse Pegasus, fresh from killing Medusa, cutting off her head. He put the head in a bag and carried it with him. If you'll remember your Greek mythology, Medusa was a gorgon, a woman with snakes for hair, and anyone who looked at her immediately was turned to stone. That's why he put her head in the bag. As Perseus was riding along on the winged horse Pegasus, he looked down and he saw the beautiful Andromeda chained to a rock, and he went down to free her. He remembered he had Medusa's head in his bag, so he pulled it out of the bag and he used it to confront Cetus the sea monster. And the monster turned to stone and sank like a rock. Perseus and Andromeda rode away on Pegasus and lived happily ever after. That's one of the few Greek myths that ends with a happy ending. Now here's a picture of Perseus in the stars. Now this is, probably should have that head in the bag, because if you look at that, you'll turn to stone.
Oh, yeah.
Here's how they look in the sky. This is from Stellarium. Shows Perseus, the hero, and it looks like he's still holding the head, not in a bag. Andromeda, the maiden, and Pegasus, the winged horse. If you notice this great square of Pegasus, we sometimes call it the baseball diamond. The long neck of the horse and the head and the nose of the horse, it's a star named Enif. The front legs of the horse, what would be the back legs of the horse, are actually another constellation, the constellation Andromeda, the beautiful maiden. And here's Perseus, and up here is Cassiopeia, the queen. Now here it is without those stick figures. It's harder to see, but Perseus is here, Cassiopeia is here, Andromeda, great square of Pegasus, long neck, head of the horse, front legs of the horse. This was taken back in 2018, and Mars was in the view, so it's not going to be there. You go out there tonight and look for it. Here it is with the stick figures again. Perseus, Cassiopeia, Pegasus, Andromeda. Cepheus the king is up here. And here it is, populated with mythical creatures and visualizations. The Triangulum galaxy, Pisces the fishes. Here's that Cetus the sea monster, that ugly looking thing with a huge gaping jaw and serpent tail. Perseus, Cassiopeia, Cepheus the king, Andromeda, Pegasus. Here's Aquarius, the water bearer, Sculptor, Phoenix, the bird that comes back from its ashes, Taurus the bull, Auriga the charioteer, Camelopardalis, the giraffe. Here's the little bear, Ursa Minor, the Little Dipper, and there's a portion of the big bear, Ursa Major part. This is actually beyond the Big Dipper. And constellation Lynx, the lynx. Now here's how they look in the sky. Well, it says tonight, but this will be 2 weeks from now. This is the 14th of February. This is actually taken in 2019, but the stars don't change. The only thing that changes is the position of the planets. Mars and Uranus were there in 2019. Mars will not be there. Uranus will still be up there. You just won't be able to see it. So can you see Cassiopeia? There's Cassiopeia. And well, let's make that a little bit easier to see. Here's the great square of Pegasus, the constellation Andromeda, Perseus, Cassiopeia, Cepheus. This is a little constellation called Lacertus the Lizard. And here are the constellations with their names. Aries the Ram is over here. Cetus the Sea Monster over here. And here it is with the imaginary figures. That ugly sea monster again. Back to a clear sky. Now this is the sky, it says tonight, but this is actually the sky 2 weeks from tonight, February 14th. And if we had no light pollution, you'd be able to see some of these stars and some of these constellations. But we probably will be able to see Orion and Canis Major and Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, Gemini, the twins, Canis Minor with Procyon, Auriga, the charioteer, that pentagon, Taurus, the bull with his long horns, and the Pleiades is right there. Cetus, the sea monster, getting ready to attack Andromeda up here, chained to a rock. Perseus is freeing her from the rock, and they're going to ride away on Pegasus, the winged horse. Cassiopeia is still upside down on her throne. And Jupiter will be the only planet visible to the naked eye. Uranus will be up there, and maybe Neptune. I'm not sure where Neptune is right now.
Closest it will be in a long time.
Yes. So happy Valentine's Day. Here's the Heart Nebula again.
Beautiful.
So that is the presentation I'm going to give at Kempsville Rec Center.
Very good, George.
All right.
Very nice.
Hey, George,
Yes, sir.
another love story that I've always liked. You know the story of Lyra?
Lyra. No, I don't.
So there was a musician, I think his name was like Orpheus or something like that, and he fell in love with a wood nymph who was very beautiful. And then they fell in love and were going to get married. And then on her wedding day, she gets bitten by a snake and dies. So of course he's broken up by this, but he decides to take his Lyra and head into the underworld to retrieve her.
Oh,
And so by playing his song, he's able to charm all of the creatures of the underworld and make it all the way to Hades. Now Hades is pretty impressed that he's able to get all the way down there and respects what he's willing to do for love. So he makes him a deal. He says, all right, I'll give her back to you. I can't remember her name. He's like, you have to walk out of the underworld. He's like, she'll be behind you, but you have to trust me and you can't look back to make sure that she's there or not. If you do this, I'll let her go. So he starts walking out, but doubt starts getting in the head as he's like halfway through. He's like, is she really there? Well, he turns around and sees her. As soon as he does that, demons grab her and pull her back down into the underworld because he broke his word to Hades. So then he ends up getting out of the underworld, but he's so grief-stricken and broken up, he can never play his lyra again. So Zeus, who pities him, places it among the stars to immortalize his lyra that he will never play again.
Why? That's very good. So that's the opera Orpheus in the Underworld, right? There is an opera called Orpheus in the Underworld. Cool.
That's where it comes from. I read that somewhere years ago.
Very good. I will try to use that.
Unfortunately, unlike like with Cassio, I was wondering when you're showing, I was like, oh, Cassiopeia and Andromeda would be a good one, but because those are up now, and obviously Lyra is not. But
Right. Now, how do I oh, there, screen sharing, stop share. There we go. Okay. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to show you. How many here in that I can see, or on Zoom, are familiar with heavensabove.com. I see half a dozen hands out of maybe 20. Okay, Heavens Above, I see that hand, Rich. Heavens Above is a great little site, and you can do a lot there. Let me find it here. Where did oh, I had it up here. It's not there anymore. Well, I will get it back. Heavens Above, HEAVENS dash above.com. Heavens-above.com. And when you go there, you can log in. To log in, it's a free registration. So if you haven't logged in before, it comes up as anonymous and location unspecified. Oh, I should share this screen. Wait, hang on a second. Let me share the screen. Okay. When you first log in, how do I get rid of it? We get quick manuals. I don't want to get quick manuals. All right. How do I get rid of, there we go. That's what I want, right? There. Okay. When you first log in, it comes in as anonymous login, location unspecified, and it defaults to 000 north and south, north and east longitude and latitude. Okay, now to log in, it's free. You could give yourself a name. Let's call myself Yabo. And give yourself a password. And log in. And you can click on remember me, but I don't want it to remember me. Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't know me, so I have to create a new user account. So I'll give my new username, Yabo. Oh, it's already in use. All right, let's say Yabom. All right, and give myself a password. And give myself, verify that password. And email address, philly. Okay, create user. I created a user. Now I can go and log in. Oh, I am logged in as Yabom. Yabom. Okay, now I've find a location, decide where I want to be. Well, I want the location to be wherever I am, which is Virginia Beach. North 3676.
Let's shrink that down a little bit, make it easier. All right. And make it bigger. Bigger. Ah. Why is it doing that? I like my touch screen at home. There we go. Almost there. Can't get my cursor to go where I want it to go. Oh, wait, okay, let's say. Well,
North 367602.
yeah, well, I'll show you something. Yeah, I got it right. I got it there. Okay, Virginia Beach. Let's say I'm going to be in Virginia Beach. And, or I could search here for Virginia Beach. And let's see if it finds it. Ta-da! There we are, Virginia Beach, Virginia, USA.
It all fills in the latitude, longitude, elevation, which is pretty close to sea level. And I think I click on update and open. Oop, I don't want that. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Now, if I go back, it says, I've logged back out again. So let me log in as Yabom.
It's logged in.
It's logging.
Yabom. Oh, I am in. How'd that happen? Okay, so it shows my location is Virginia Beach, shows my coordinates, and I don't know why it wants me to log in again, but I'll do it. Okay, this is the screen you come to. Now you can do a lot of things. You can go, it's got a interactive sky chart, which I use a lot for presentations. I copy this, make it an image, a PNG image or a GIF image, and I put this in my slideshows. This shows the sky as it is right now. Now I can change this. It's February 1st at 20:39 hours. I could change this to February 14th, or I could change it to any day or any year and any time. So let's make it 2200, 10 o'clock. And hit, oh, let's back up. Hit update. This is what it will look like. Get rid of that. This is what the sky will look like at 2200, 10 o'clock at night on the 14th of February. You can see Orion, Gemini, and all those constellations we saw earlier, but Jupiter is a little bit farther over to the west than it was in our slideshow, because Jupiter was farther over here. Okay. And if you want to print this, you hit print, same as hitting enter, and it comes up with a black and white image that is suitable for printing. It gives you your location and your coordinates and the date and time. And I have often printed multiple copies of this to hand out when I'm giving a presentation like at Garden Stars or at Kempsville. Going back to the menu, you can see a 10-day prediction of the International Space Station. This tells me that in the next 4 days, we'll see there's 4 possibilities of seeing it. It even shows the time it starts, time it's at its highest point, and the time it disappears. And it gives the magnitude over here.
That's
And
almost overhead.
and if you want to see where it's going to be, you click on that date and it shows it's like tonight it came up at 1908, which is 7:08 p.m. in the northwest, and it traveled across the sky past Jupiter and it disappeared. It lost contact with any illumination, went into the Earth's shadow right here. So that's a lot of fun. You can use heavens above for that. Now, this is interesting. Here's a live sky view. It shows what the sky looks like right this very moment. And let me get rid of that. I click on currently visible satellites. Well, I don't know why it doesn't show any satellites. Earlier when I did this, it showed satellites going across the sky all over the place. Showed a bunch of Starlink satellites, but I don't see it.
Be like tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, I don't see any right now. Anyway, this is what the sky looks like right this very moment. And there's a lot of other things. You can look for the Tiangong space station, which is the Chinese space station. It's going to be visible a lot for the next 10 days. Of course, it's going to be early in the morning, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and stuff like that before the sun comes up. It's got other satellites, Blue Walker, North Korean satellites, the Hubble Space Telescope. It's theoretically visible in the early morning hours. Not nearly as bright as the International Space Station, which is a -3. This is more of a 3.5 magnitude, which is very much dimmer. You can check on the moon, the planets, the sun, solar system chart. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And I have not even done half of the items that are available on Heavens Above. But it's very helpful, very much fun. Oh, one nice thing is you can visualize the International Space Station. As if you are on the space station. And this is what it looks like down below. Down below Earth. Right now, it shows where it is right now. It's going across. Looks like it's heading toward Texas, heading toward the Gulf of Mexico. If you watch it long enough, you'll run out of land and get over. There's the Gulf of Mexico right there. So that's pretty cool. It shows you its heading, its location, altitude, or altitude of the sun, I guess. And there we go. We're coming over Texas, heading toward the Gulf of Mexico. Do we have any questions about Heavens Above? It's free. You can download it. Or no, you don't even have to download it. You just have to register, put in your location, and you save that location and save that, tell it to remember me, then every time you log in, you don't have to put your password in. Or if you do, remember your password, fine. Fine and dandy. I like to record passwords. Stop sharing.
I got a cell phone version.
Yeah, they do make a cell phone version. It's not nearly as robust. It has a lot fewer applications, fewer features, but it's handy, especially when you're following satellites and the ISS. So, are there any questions? Any possible other people that use Stellarium, or not Stellarium, Heavens Above? Okay.
It used to be a radio.
Yes, iridium flares used to be on there when iridium flares were a thing. They deorbited all the bright, shiny ones. There's still iridium flares up there, but they don't flash anymore. They don't flare. They're just satellites. Communication satellites.
Interesting. They complained about the brightness and
I don't know if anybody complained, but they just replaced their old satellites with new ones. Okay, this telescope is here. If anybody wants tickets to buy or even to take and sell, let me know. Let's have the drawing for our door prize, our green laser pointer. All right. Oh, that's it. Everybody got the ticket? Everybody's got a ticket stub in here? All right. They fall around. David, pick one out. The winner is 367 1724.
Just about that.
All right, the winner. Very good. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll have to get a few more of those. Yeah, that is a very nice green laser pointer. So are there any other comments, questions? If not, meeting adjourned.
great job, George. Thank you. Good job. Superb. So you can image this bad boy. Do that one too.
Yeah, I've been doing that. Yeah. Let's get right.
In the end, you just like, listen, I mean, eventually it's all getting back.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah. George will be possible.
This is a new telescope. 41 minutes.
I think.
I don't think
That's pretty good. It's still pretty good though. 41 minutes.
Yeah, we can fix software. It takes 3 or 5 minutes. Well, not yet, if you can stack it. What stack it? Sure.
Oh.
I couldn't beat this today.
Email is best.
I know. Oh, yeah, I